So it's been a while since I've done a portfolio update, so I thought you might be interested to see what has been going on within my Trading 212 account. It has been going all over the place, as you might expect, and there are a few reasons for that. But what are they? Well, let's have a look at what's been going on, first of all, in the S&P 500. So over the last month, S&P 500 is up about 0.9%. But year to date, S&P 500 has done much better than people thought it was going to be doing, up 16.6%, which isn't bad, saying on average it's somewhere between 8 to 10%. Then let's have a look closer to home. Over the last month, FTSE is down a little bit, and let's figure out why that might have been. Might have been something to do with the budget that happened at the end of November, with lots and lots of news, false news, and everything going on about what was in, what was out. And in reality, what happened to us as investors? Basically, we still kept that 20,000 allowance for our ISAs, but looking at maximum you could hold of £12,000 in a cash ISA, with the remainder being split across anything else. But there are ways around that. Let's wait and see what the detail actually is as people work through how that will work in reality. At the moment, we're just sat with the headline figure of maximum 12,000 for that cash ISA, unless you're over 65, and then you can whack the whole 20,000 in there as cash. But let's wait and see. And over the year, FTSE 100 isn't lagging that far behind the S&P 500. It's up like nearly 18%. How many times do you see that happening for the FTSE 100? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Mark of Desperately Seeking Fi. So the reason you're here is to jump in and see what's been going on in the Trading 212 portfolio. My Trading 212 portfolio has been bouncing in around that £54,000 mark for most of today. I was hoping it was going to have hit there, but alas, no. So what have I got in there? I have just over 50,000 in there in investments, and the rest is just held in cash at the moment. I might need to withdraw that to pay a few bills that are coming up in the next few months, but very nearly at that 54,000, and then 55 after that is the next. As most of you'll know, that I do hold a couple of different pies in here that you can go and have a look at on the app. You've got the monthly dividend growth and the Ryder Cup, and I will start moving things into the UK Housebuilder one at a later stage. Let's go and have a look at some of the things that I am holding in here. I will hear you all go, 45 investments, that's way too many. Yeah, it is, but if you think about it, my Ryder Cup of dividend pie is in there, and that holds 24 of those 45 positions, and some of the others are actually quite small, of those remaining 21. So first of all, we've got Realty Income is my largest holding, up about 3% in this one. Dividend yield of 5.53%, and this one pays me like clockwork every single month, £30. Then we've got the one that has paid me the largest individual single payment, and that was Legal and General. And over the last year, it paid me, I think it was just a smidge over £400 on one of the ex-dividend dates, which was super nice to see. I'm up about 11.5% on this, and as you can see, 8.55% of a dividend yield. Then one that I have most definitely not invested into for anything to do with its dividend, and that's SML. That's up about 46% in the portfolio, and this one is definitely one of those growth stocks that I've invested into and will continue to just hold for a long time. BATS is the next one that I'm going to jump into, and you can see from this listing that BATS is my largest actual cash growth in the whole portfolio, coming in at just under £1,100 worth of growth in this one. I will wait and see whether or not I'm going to trim this one back a little bit, because it is up it's already up about 72% in the portfolio. You'll then see Taylor Wimpey is the largest house builder that I hold, just over £2,500 invested into that. It's been all over the place over the last month, and this is partly to do with the budget, with all the house builders really holding out for a budget that was really going to help them. I'm not sure they quite got what they were hoping for, but let's wait and see whether that ambitious target of 1.5 million new homes being built in the UK over this Parliament actually comes to fruition. There might be, if interest rates start to come down a little bit, which hopefully they will, it will make things a lot easier. One, for the house builders to start their building, but also looking at people trying to get on that housing ladder. If interest rates come down, maybe that will make things slightly easier for them. But I think what all the house builders were hoping for was some form of help to buy type of program coming out that would allow first timers to get their foot on the housing market. And Taylor Wimpey just paying just a smidge over 9% of a dividend yield. I think some of you who had watched my last portfolio update may not have seen PHP in there. I've been buying back in. It's up a little bit at the moment, up almost 7%, but a tidy little dividend yield coming in quarterly of 7.29% over the year. Obviously, I don't get 7.29%, even though I would love to be getting that every single quarter. We're then into a couple of stocks that are down pretty badly, and there are two of the renewable stocks that I hold, and that is UKW, Greencoat, UK Wind, and the Renewable Infrastructure Group, known under the ticker symbol of TRIG. Both of these down. While they are down, they are still paying a reasonably hefty 10 plus dividend, both of them, with UKW at about 10.49 and TRIG at 10.36. So at least there is some money coming back from that trickling back in. And I tend to just buy a little bit more back in as they are a little bit cheaper. You then have Rolls-Royce, which is in percentage of growth. In this portfolio, it's up almost 400%. I hold it in another portfolio where I've got an additional 52 shares, and that is up 12x in that other portfolio. I might just get rid of that and move that money across into here. It does pay a small dividend, but that's not why I've invested into it. It was the whole rationale of what was going on with the small modular reactors, the SMRs, and were they going to start being built in the UK, and starting to see some uptake in that type of activity taking place. Whoever thought that Lloyd's was going to get back up close to that £1 per share? So this is up 126% in the portfolio and paying a dividend yield of about 3.44%. I'll then take a jump down to my two worst performing stocks. So I said technology's taken a bit of a battering over the last year. It's down 39% over the last, year to date in 2025. Alexandria Real Estate is even worse, at down 55% over the last year. In the last month, you can see it has taken a massive dip, and that basically came in when they started looking at cutting their dividend yield. I think it's gone down to something in around 6.3%. And that works out, I think it's 72 cents per share, currently at about 6-ish% of a dividend yield, down from almost 11. So there are things that are doing well within the portfolio and things that aren't doing quite so well. Love to hear what is your best performing stock in growth wise, and what is your worst performing stock. And if you're not on Trading 212 and you'd like to give it a go, you can actually sign up and invest just a single pound and get yourself a free fractional share worth up to £100 by using my code of DSFI when you actually sign up to the platform. And give it a go, see what you think of the platform. It's what I've been using for the last 3 years as my go-to stocks and shares ISA provider. So why don't you go and have a look at that one. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.